Boker Tov, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us for our daily shiur in Chovot HaLevavot, learning about bitachon and trust in Hashem. The last shiur we learned about person has their own way of making an effort in their in achieving what Hashem wants them to achieve. So for some people, it's less of a work. For some people, it's a greater toil. But at the end of the day, everybody has to make some kind of effort in order to achieve their goal. And the same thing is by animals and other creations that Hashem has made. Each one has an obligation to strive, and Hashem gives each one the tools based on their body and based on their nature of their nefesh, whatever it might be, that it should be the correct way and how to achieve what they have to achieve. Okay, now we're continuing towards the last two short paragraphs of Perek Gimel of chapter 3, and we read as follows. V'yichaven b'tirdat libo, when a person has this emotional effort, a person should have in mind, v'gufo, and when his body is working hard, b'siba min hasibot v'hasivuv alaha, when a person is working different types of work in order to achieve his parnasa, his livelihood, or when he's busy, when he's in the middle of trying to reach the parnasa, the livelihood that he's doing, la'amod b'mitzvat haboreh, to stand and to observe, to fulfill that which Hashem commanded him. Like we learned earlier, and it's an obvious thing, that if Hashem commands someone to do something, that not only does he give you the ability to do it, but he also expects that you follow along his commandments. And when one does, then Hashem hopefully gives a person everything that they need. That that Hashem commanded man to deal with the objects of the person. Like we're going to see in a second about how Hashem told Adam Rishon, Adam, how to live his life, that he has to work hard for his parnasa, kedei lahasig parnasato, in order to achieve his parnasa and livelihood. Kigon, for example, avodat ha'adama, working the land, v'charishata, and plowing the land, uzriyata, and sowing the land. Kamosh Katuv, it says in the verse, Vayikach Hashem Elokim et Adam, when after Hashem created Adam, God took man, Vayanichehu b'Gan Eden, he put him in the Garden of Eden. Obviously, that's before the sin of eating of the tree of knowledge. La'avda, to work it, u'lashamra, to keep it. The basic meaning is that why does Hashem put a person in this world? We're not speaking specifically now about the Gan Eden per se. We're talking about the concept of being in this world. Why does Hashem put us in this world? La'avda, to work it, u'lashamra, to guard it. In other words, we're here to work. We're here to accomplish. V'chein, and so too, tziva Hashem et ha'adam u'lishtamesh b'sh'ar ba'alei chayim b'to'alotav. We also have to use different animals with each one with its benefits. U'mezonotav, to be able to seek its food. U'binyan ha'medinot, building countries. V'achanat ha'mezonot, and preparing foods. U'lehishtamesh banashim v'lev'olot ha'arbot hazara, and that a person should get married and should have children And a person will receive reward for those deeds according to the intention of his heart. In other words, when we do things, even when it's worldly matters, we have to have in mind that we're fulfilling Hashem's mission in this world, and that's why He put us here. Whether his will, his desire, actually was carried out, even if his desire was not necessarily carried out, but he has he has a goal, he has a mission of where he's going to, and so even that process of his getting there is also part of Hashem's master plan in the world. Kamosha Ne'emar, as it says in the verse, Yigia kapecha kitochel. Excuse me. David HaMelech, King David, says in the Tehillim, chapter 128, Yigia kapecha, when you strive with your hands, kitochel, then you will eat. Ashracha, praiseworthy are you. V'tov lach, and it should be good for you. What do we see from here? That Hashem wants us to have the work of our hands to accomplish in the world, not just to sit back and twiddle our thumbs, but to get up, roll up our sleeves, and work. And then we eat. Ashracha, praiseworthy are we, and v'tov lach, and it's good for us. It's important to mention over here what it says in Chassidut, that on this verse, Yegia kapecha, your hands should strive, should make an effort. Chassidus says, only kapecha, only your hand. You don't have to put your mind and your whole being deep into the issues of your work. Of course, you have to strategize, but don't put your whole being totally immersed into your work. So for example, if a person works regular business hours, and that's fine. But if a person thinks that they're going to work till midnight or wake up at 4 a.m. and start working and they'll be able to make more money, it's not going to work like that. Because Hashem decided how much a person should make. So we have a choice to balance that which we have a choice to balance that which we how we make our business. In other words, on one hand there has to be the keli, the vessel. On the other hand, there has to be trust in Hashem. So sometimes we put a focus on the point that we have to make a vessel, we have to make a kli, in order that Hashem's blessing should come in. On the other hand, sometimes we put a focus on the greater bitachon. So over here, even in the shara bitachon, he's putting a stress on how much a person has to make the vessel, the keli, but also that it's not that we're making the keli. It's not our keli. It's we're trying to fit our minds into Hashem's master plan. I would like to mention one more point before we move along, and that is that this was the mistake of the miraglim, of the spies, and in a sense of the entire generation that experienced the traveling in the desert, in the midbar, after crossing through the Yam Suf and after receiving the Torah. When the spies came into Eretz Yisrael, they saw, oy vey, people are, in order to achieve their parnasa, in order to have a livelihood, they have to work very hard, they have to sweat, they have to really toil. In those days, it was much more agriculture where you had to plant and to plow, hard work, hard labor. In contrast to how they were in the midbar, in the desert. In the midbar, they didn't have to lift. The food was the manna, it came from heaven. Hamotzi lechem min hashamayim. They were protected with clouds from all sides, whether with bad weather from above or the sides or even in the bottom, to straighten out mountains and valleys, and any dangerous creatures did not hurt them. Also, their clothes grew with them and were totally clean, were cleaned miraculously on them. So basically, they were able to learn Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu without having any worries or concerns. Isn't that cool? That sounds like the ideal scenario of Olam Haba, Gan Eden, just learning Torah in the deepest levels from the greatest tzaddikim and Hashem Himself, and not needing to work. So this is their mistake. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes that's the shlichut for that month, and naturally for the next 40 years. That was the way they learned Torah. That was how they lived. They didn't have to lift a finger. But that's not the ultimate purpose. The ultimate goal is that we should get involved with the world, do business honestly, and to share with people that we come in contact with an anecdote of Torah, give tzedakah with the parnasa that we earned. That's called getting into the world, taking off your gloves, and really getting involved. It's good to be in the midbar, to be in the desert, but that's not the long-term goal. Or, for example, on a smaller scale, an individual person. You grow up, you're a child first, then you're an adult. When you're a child, you focus more on learning Torah. When you're an adult, you're more involved in the world. And even within the adult life, in the beginning of the day, we go to shul and we daven. We try to have a shir in the morning. We try to get ourselves, when we feel best, that's when we involve ourselves in the Torah subjects. And then later on in the day, we can get involved with different aspects that Hashem expects us to. Once again, we have this point of a healthy balance between davening to Hashem, trusting Hashem and Hashem's help and Hashem's guidance. And on the other hand, we have the keli, the vessel that we have to create. Let's continue inside the text. All of your deeds should be for the sake of Hashem. And a person's trust in Hashem should be complete. And a person's bitachon, a person's trust in Hashem will not be blemished, will not be diminished in any sense, in any way, just because he had to make a vessel and to go and seek out his food. As long as, even while you're making this vessel, your kavana, the intention of your heart, is for the sake of Hashem. One more short paragraph before the end of chapter 3. The al yachshov, a person should not think ki tarpo muamad al siba yidua. A person should not think that his food comes from a specific medium. V'she'im timana siba hahim mimenu lo yavo b'siba acheret. And if one specific medium won't work, then he won't get in any other way. Here's another point of why a person should trust in Hashem. That Hashem will supply the person with his food. Because the vessel that a person made, for this moment, that's the right way. If one sees afterwards that it didn't work, so Hashem will present perhaps another medium that a person should be able to make ends meet. V'yeda, and a person should know, ki asibot kulam etzel haboreh shavot. All of these different mediums for Hashem is all the same. Maybe for a human being, one is more of an effort than the other. But for Hashem, it's all the same. Yatrifehu, Hashem will give him food. B'masha yirtzeh mehen, whatever Hashem wants, whatever medium he wants, ube'etche yirtzeh, and whatever time Hashem wants. Me'eze inyan shirtzeh, which in any way that Hashem decides. Kamosha Amar Katuv, like it says in the pasuk, Ki ein laHashem ma'atzor lehoshia b'rav o b'mat. Hashem does not have any withdrawal to help either with a large quantity or with a small quantity. V'amar, and it also says in the Chumash, Ki hu anoten lecha koach la'asot chaya. For he, Hashem, is the one who gives us the koach, the energy, la'asot chaya, to have energy, to be strong. So at the end of the day, it's Hashem. V'amar, and it also says in another verse, Lo b'chayil v'lo b'koach. We will not be victorious, not through a great army or a lot of might. Ki im beruchi. Only with, Hashem says, my spirit. Amar Hashem tzedakot. So while, for example, in these words, a military is important, and it is important to be strong, but we shouldn't put our hope in that. Our hope is in Hashem, and that Hashem should give the koach to our soldiers to be strong, to be focused, and to have the right inspiration and the right ruach to be able to fight Hashem's war. Don't forget, it's Hashem's war. Like it says clearly, right after Am Yisroel went through the Yam Suf, and they were very afraid. They saw the Egyptians coming after them, and Hashem's and it says in the pasuk in Parashat B'Shalach, Hashem yilachem lachem, Hashem will fight your war, v'yatem tacharishon, and you be quiet. In other words, Hashem, if Hashem fights our war, we can be certain that Bezrat Hashem we will win the war. Thank you very much for joining us, and of course, thank you to Raya and Mordechai. And Bezrat Hashem tomorrow morning, 9:15. Right here, same time, same place. Thank you very much.